7 ways to eliminate your excuses. I have a friend, she uses excuses to get out of everything related to being a responsible adult. The worst part is that, she's been doing it for so long that excuses have become ingrained in her personality. Excuses, like all bad habits, are simple to make. They allow you to confine yourself to your comfort zone, and live your life normally. After a while, you'll realize that this way of life is not for you. You can either accept where your life is, or eliminate your excuses by taking responsibility for where you are now, and more importantly, why you created the excuses in the first place. To help you get started, here are 7 ways to eliminate your excuses. Before we start, if you don't want to miss out my latest video, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell too. 1. Read between the lines. Usually, the excuse you're using is just a cover for the real reason you can't do something. Some people are afraid of failing. And for some, it's a matter of self-esteem. Others, however, are afraid of success or of losing something. If you're not sure where your excuses are coming from, simply ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if you succeed and achieve your goals? List every worst-case scenario, and you'll probably notice a pattern. This is the issue to tackle. 2. Stop ending your statements with a, but. Here's a simple trick that always works for me. Instead of saying I'd really like to, but, just say I'd really like to. This triggers your mind to focus on the plans you need to make to reach your goals, instead of the roadblocks currently in your way. It will motivate yourself right away. 3. Avoid other excusers. One of the things I noticed when I started stepping outside of my comfort zone was how many people in my life were also making excuses. So many excuses. In fact, when we reflected on our conversations, we were always complaining and excusing. What if we spent all of that time doing instead? Like you, those you spend time with might not realize they're making excuses, and trust me, you can point it out all you want. It's a realization everyone has to come to on their own before they can change. Begin a new conversation. Be the one to change the tune. If you stop making excuses, you'll likely inspire those you care about to do the same. 4. Trick yourself. Depending on your goals, just thinking about them can be overwhelming. This is especially true for lofty goals like advancing in a difficult career, or starting a business from the ground up. It's all too easy to become so overwhelmed that you never get started. Eliminate your excuses by creating the mother of all to-do lists as it relates to that specific goal. Break it down into small, manageable steps, only work on one tiny step at a time, and put the rest in a drawer. When you're finished with the step, it doesn't seem like such a big deal, then proceed to the next, and so on. Soon, you'll look back on all of your small steps, and be amazed at how far you've come. 5. Build excuse-free habits. As they say, feel the fear, but do it anyway. Recognize the excuses you're making, own up to them, and do what you want to do regardless of what you think is holding you back. Yes, it's much easier said than done, but it's one thing to say you have control of your life and another to take control. Building these habits is difficult, and sometimes painful in the moment, but the results are indescribably satisfying. You'll be itching to set your next challenge right away. Once you start, it's an addictive practice. Make testing your limits enjoyable by doing so on your own terms. 6. Use your excuses as signals. Once you recognize your excuses for what they are, you can begin using them to your advantage. Consider your excuses to be a warning sign of a larger underlying issue. It's a great way to familiarize yourself with what makes you tick. When you find yourself making an excuse, look into it further to determine the true cause, and work toward moving past it. The more you practice this, the less you will limit yourself from reaching your full potential. 7. Trust the process. There are times when you really want to do something, but your schedule, lifestyle, or workload make it impossible. In these instances, you're not in denial or making excuses, you're simply examining the roadblocks that are in your way. It's when you allow these roadblocks to stay in place that they become excuses. Surprisingly, we start making excuses when something is really important to us. If you immediately turn to a proactive attitude when these situations arise, and trust yourself to think of a solution, you won't have to eliminate your excuses, because you won't be able to find one. Here's hoping everyone can start doing without making any excuses. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next episode.